Welcome to Soul, Light, and Body. How are you guys doing today? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're continuing to do your journaling. I hope you're finding time to go out in nature, giving your gratitude because that's so important. We find the time to pause and give gratitude because many times we are just on the go and we are just forgetting about the most important things that keep us going. We forget about that. How are you recharging yourself? What modalities are you using that is aligning with you to recharge yourself on a daily basis? Because many times we are just not finding that time, but the time is there. We have to find the time. When you hop off, before you hop off your bed, you're supposed to have a routine that you know what, today I'm going to do my journaling. I'm going to make sure I find that time to give that gratitude. We got to find the time because these are the things that help to keep us recharged. It's like refueling yourself before you start the day. And it is so important. Is living a holistic lifestyle. Is your body, your mind, your spirit. What are you doing for that? So this evening, we got a beautiful panel discussion here, and we're going to dive a little bit very deep in science tonight, and this science is coming from ancient practice.
That's right.
And we all forget about what our ancestors used to do to sustain the self. We totally forget about that, and we move away from that aspect of our lives. And that is why many times we run up into a lot of problems. And for us to really sustain ourselves, we got to move backwards a little bit into our ancestors' living and see how they live their lifestyle and how many of them live such a long life. It's all because of how they chose to live. So we really need to take a hard look at our ancestors, the things that they used to do in order to sustain themselves. And we have to pay attention. Surrounding ourselves with not the right kind of people who are taken away from you and not giving you anything. What of foods that you're using to nourish yourself? Is it good for your mood? Is it helping with your depression? It's so many things. It is so many things in this container. But you know what? This evening we have some beautiful guests, returning guests, and new guests that is going to help to bring some clarity to us. So just grab a pen and a paper and take some notes, because when we have these pointers, we can always go back and look at it and say, you know what? I've learned something on Soul, Light, and Body, and I think I can try it. Absolutely. And see how it could help me to move forward with my life. So this evening, just sit back and relax for this hour with us, and you're going to get some really good points to move forward with your life. Saul, welcome back. Crystal, welcome back. And Niki, welcome to Soul, Light, and Body.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Thank you. I am Karen Pascal, holistic health and wellness coach, and a co-author of two books with my sister Joan. Your Gut in You and Self-Care is Intentional, and it's on Amazon for purchase right now. So go grab yourself copies. And also don't forget to subscribe to Soul, Light, and Body, because you will never miss none of these juicy episodes. I'll now hand the mic over to Joan. Joan, take the mic.
Thank you. Thank you. Great opening as always. How are you choosing to move forward? We're in July, 7th month. What is standing in the way with you from not attaining your success and what you're looking to? What are you aspiring for? What is standing in the way? What are you choosing not to let go? That's always a hard thing. What are you choosing not to let go, unpack, and holding on so tightly? Because when you hold on so tightly and it's not serving you well, you're not allowing good things to come in. The goodies are waiting there. Let what's not serving you well go today, so you can welcome greatness, newness, new beginnings. So you can live the life you want, live the life you desire to be while you're here. Practice the life of service. The life of service is so beautiful. When you can volunteer, whether it's volunteer, the soup kitchen, shelter, whatever is it that you'll feel called to or led to, live a life of service. Help humanity. You can change someone's life like that. Show yourself some grace, as we always say. Love and compassion is very important so we can show ourselves. Don't be hard on yourself. Celebrate your wins, no matter how big or small it is. You work hard to get there. Celebrate yourself. Pause and observe. Observe that moment where something great has happened for you. Celebrate it. Show a level of gratitude. Get out in nature, as Karen said. We're out more in nature than ever before. Because now, especially where we are right now, excuse me, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Ground. Don't forget to ground yourself. It's so important. We had an event at the Javits Center a couple of weeks ago, which our lovely soul was there with us as well. And lots of friends, Tommy and Dr. Jonas and Dr. Marcy and Dr. Terrence and stuff like that. And it was a great moment for us. And so it was so important days leading up to that event. We ground ourselves. Days leading up to that, be prepared. Months before that, be prepared. Because preparedness is so important. Preparation is important. So when the moment arrives, you can deliver. And you can deliver excellently. Are you walking in your purpose? If you find that passion, something that you so desire of, and that's it, you say, oh, I got this thing and I want to share it with the world. Are you pulling out all the gifts that you have, that you're impregnated with inside of you, and delivering it, bring it to the world? We're waiting. and surround yourself with the right kind of people. That's so important. And remind yourself you're beautiful, you're special, you're amazing, you're unique, you have a special gift. Watch yourself talk. That's so important. Because how you talk to yourself, that's how you show up in the world. So tonight, give it a second thought. Think about it. Because you want to walk in your greatness. You want to live a life of excellence. So whenever you show up in a room, you come with power. You own that space because it's you. My name is Joan Williams, holistic health and wellness coach. And tonight we have some amazing women who is going to empower us and give us a level of clarity, great insight, new perspectives, how we can move forward and what we can incorporate in our lives. So Saul, welcome.
Thank you.
Crystal, welcome. Niki, welcome. So happy to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate you having us, definitely. I always love you guys opening because I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Tell them, journal, meditate, breath work, yes, no, empower, affirmations, yes, yes, yes. These are some of the basics just to get into, who we are and find ourselves. So I always love to just, cut into those because those tools have got me where I am. So I always love that you guys share that. So important, so beautiful. Um, Tonight I came with a special message because very true what Karen said. This is ancestral, as we come. Whew, sorry, I had to breathe through that real quick. But even in that, it's deep to me because I'm science based, right? I was in the medical field for 14 years, and my major is biology. I love science. I'm a science geek. I obsess with it, but I'm also obsessed with the anatomy and physiology. And once I was able to experience the spiritual side, that connected me to true healing and spirituality, um, versus what I was taught on the medical side. And not to debunk anything, I'm not here to tell you guys not to go to doctors. I'm not here to tell you not to go to medical. Definitely not. Please follow go to your doctors, follow what feels right. But we're here to show you another side of life and another alternative to all these things, to healing, and to be able to get to wellness without having the medication that, they're always throwing at us. Let's say it that way, because you guys know we're online. We're live here, so I'll be nice. um, Crystal, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to talk about all this because I know from my experience, it's definitely changed my life. It helps. Some of these things help me on a day-to-day basis. Some of these things are just I've done once in a great while, and it has totally changed my life for the better. It opened me up. I feel like I had an out-of-body experience, all kinds of things. So I'm excited to share that and to share some knowledge about cannabis and what it can do for everybody. And I know we are going to be talking about other things too, but that's my little specialty. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to be here and just educate.
Niki, it's your go, honey. Yup, it's you, baby. Go.
I appreciate it. I really started my spiritual journey. I would say it started with becoming a death doula, and that was about 4 years ago. And when my grandmother passed, I really had a heart to heart with myself and where I wanted to go and what I wanted to be doing with my life. And I realized that was serving others and advocating and in many different ways. And this journey has brought me on paths that I would never have guessed that I would be going on, but I am absolutely joyous to be on them and to be sharing them today.
Do you ladies have a preference on which one you would like to talk about first?
No, so it's your thing.
All right. Let's talk about with the most common knowledge, right? Because I think that everybody's most common with oh, we got Queenie CC saying go Niki. Hey, thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
We have let's talk about cannabis first because I think it's the most common. I think it's the most that people can relate to and are familiar with. I think we'll start through there and then get into the little the ones that have most stigma on them, let's say, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead, honey.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So, we know over time cannabis has come more like recreational, and in the United States it used to be like it was blasphemy. We couldn't do it, you know what I mean? And so as science came along, we know about a lot about cannabis right now, actually. There's been studies shown that, in the cannabis plant alone, there's over 133 cannabinoids in it. And out of those cannabinoids, 60 compounds of those are just strictly from the cannabis plant and no other plant. The rest of them can come from other plants too, like cocoa or flaxseed and different things like that. But the main thing is cannabis. And so, and I don't know if everybody knows, but some people wonder, what's the difference between marijuana and hemp, right? Because marijuana has a high form of THC. That's the psychoactive compound that gets us high. That's what everybody talks about, right? And then the hemp plant has low THC and high CBD. And CBD is a non-psychoactive compound. So that's the difference between the two, is where there are some people that don't want to feel that psycho compound effect. They don't want to feel high. They just want the benefits of maybe it's anti-inflammatory. Maybe they want to relieve some anxiety. Maybe they need to help them sleep. So they just take like something like CBD oil, or a form of hemp, right? And then we have something in our body called the endocannabinoid system. This is what people don't really talk about, I feel like, but the endocannabinoid system means that we have all these receptors over every cell of our body, and they're endocannabinoid receptors. So they're cannabinoid receptors where they open up when we take CBD or we take marijuana, and they just open up and they start to help our body release that. And so that we can feel the effects maybe of, not having pain. Maybe we can, like I said, we could sleep better. Sometimes it relieves people's anxiety. The main receptors we have are CB1 and CB2 receptors. And we have receptors from all the way, I think now they've discovered like even up to CB7, or I think even CB15 receptors, you know what I mean? But the main ones are CB1 and CB2. And CB1 receptors, they are mostly affected with your brain, like your motor activity, your thinking, even your appetite. It has your short-term memory, even your immune cells. And then the CB2 receptors go all the way down, to your gut, your kidneys, your bones, your eyes, even your reproductive system. So many different things, those receptors affect, because there's literally a CB receptor on every cell of your body. And the main like thing for cannabis is for your body. What it does is it helps your body come into homeostasis. Like if you're taking CBD, that's one of the main ones they try to use, so you don't have to have the psychoactive compound. But for instance, CBD, the main job is to create homeostasis in the body, which means overall well-being. It's going to try to make all your organs work better. On top of that, if you are taking CBD, for instance, it has a hemp oil in it, which has omega-3s. Those are good essential fatty acids. Some people use this stuff with their dogs, even, mammals. Other mammals have CB receptors. So that's just like the science side. I get a little geeked out with it, but that's just the science side of the body and how our body receives, cannabis, right? And so that's just the main thing. And a lot of people use it to mostly relieve pain, I feel like, and that people have come to me about. From my own experience, I have used marijuana for nausea, if I have a headache, if I can't sleep or something like that, if I just need to relax. For some people, it's not for everybody, because some people say, they can get, let's say, paranoia, or maybe they just go to sleep, they become a couch potato. So, maybe marijuana is not for them, but for me, marijuana helps me to focus. It helps me to calm my mind down enough because I'm kind of high strung and I'm always doing something, right? So it helps me just to focus on my activities and get my stuff, everything done, my daily things, tasks that I need to do. So, yeah, so that's my experience. It's helped me also with if I've ever had any pain, like I have scoliosis. So that's a big pain reliever for me. That's one of the main, I don't use medications. So I use cannabis for my pain to relieve inflammation and everything. So that's basically, about it, except for the last thing is a lot of people know when they think of marijuana, they know about indica and sativa. I can explain a little bit about that. Indica is more of a relaxing high, a body high, and sativa is more energetic and it's more of a cerebral high. And so you'll know the difference, which one you're taking, and you just ask if you want sativa, if you want to keep you up, you want to be energetic during the day, you would choose sativa. If you want to relax at night, maybe have a better sleep, you would be using indica. Or maybe you're just a person like me where because we have pain or something like that, because I have scoliosis, other people might have other things going on, but I prefer the indica. That helps. That's a body high, so it helps hit different pain receptors. So, yeah, that's my little thing about cannabis. Let me know if you guys have questions.
How one decides what to take, or how do we go about that? How one, if they're thinking, as you explained so beautifully, Crystal, and they're thinking someone might be in pain, or what is the safe way they can take it? How they choose, what do they do? What's the first step, should we say?
Well, it's really just by everyone's body's different. Some people might not do well with THC, so sometimes it's really good to start out with some CBD oil. And CBD oil, usually you take about a fourth of a dropper, like that's usually suggested use, a fourth of a dropper 2 times a day, or you can microdose and take small amounts throughout the day to keep your levels, just to keep yourself balanced and level throughout the day. The other thing is, if you would like to try marijuana, I would suggest don't use an edible first, because an edible can last anywhere from 2 hours to 7 hours for some people. So if you don't like what you're feeling, you don't want to experience that for 7 hours. So I don't suggest an edible right away or anything like that, but maybe you might want to try vape or smoking it or something. I'm not sure if they're, sorry. So if you want to just try a little bit, I would just, everything's a lot more potent than it used to be. Let's say like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. This is medical grade usually. So if you are going to plan on smoking it or vaping it, I would just consume like one inhalation, right? Just to see how that is. Wait maybe 3 to 5 minutes. If you don't feel much or anything like that, I would maybe do one more inhalation. And then that should be about good for like usually first timers, like people who are very low tolerance, they don't need that much. And then if you are going to take an edible and it's your first time, I would suggest about 5 to 10 milligrams. Usually 5 milligrams is for beginners. Someone with medical grade and they need more milligrams, obviously. So someone might try 20 to 50, and some people even, it depends on how your body metabolizes it. I noticed that a lot of men, because of their testosterone, something to do with the hormones, it kind of blocks your liver enzyme from breaking down the THC and using it right properly. So sometimes they don't feel anything with edibles, right? And some women can be like that too. It doesn't have to do with the testosterone hormone, but it can just do with your liver controls your hormones too. But your liver has the enzymes to break down that THC. So if your liver is congested, or it just might not break it down. Some people need 100 milligrams. You know what I mean? It just depends on the person. But when you're a beginner, I would start around 5 milligrams for an edible, and then try I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't try the edible first. You can always try vaping or smoking first. Always read the labels. There's also tinctures. That's more instant. An edible can take 20 minutes to 2 hours to hit you finally to feel it. But a tincture is much faster usually, especially if you hold it under your tongue. And it just depends per person. It can last an hour or more, 2 hours, maybe even up to 3 hours if they take a tincture. So just small amounts first, just to see how you feel.
Can you please explain to them what a tincture is? A lot of people may not know.
So a tincture can be extracted different ways. Some people use CO2 extraction, which is a really clean extraction, and it's not used with heat. So, and then there's also, you can use it with, some people use like a form of alcohol. I think they use usually Everclear sometimes, and they let the alcohol dissipate and everything, but you can even let it soak in that, and it makes it, you know, like over time, over a couple weeks or so, I think, or more. It just depends on how you're making it, but it can be alcohol based. It could be, like I said, CO2 extracted. I'm sure there might be probably even newer ways. I'm just not sure of them yet. But yeah. Sol, did you want to say something?
No, I'm agreeing.
No.
I think that yeah, because even I make it. I'll piggyback a little bit off what you said, because obviously we're both part of Natural Health Hub Guide. You guys know this, and you know, cannabis is definitely a plant that we love to play with, because it had a stigma. Even when I was growing up, it had a very strong stigma. You know, unfortunately, my mom comes from Costa Rica. A drug is a drug is a drug. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it's bad, right? And it was known like that, and it's been presented to us like that, because it's been abused, right? And that's what we see, and that's what we've been visual to. But the reality is that this has been used medicinally for years, just like you said, back in our ancestral days. If you go to some of our countries, third world countries, we still use this medicinally, right. You know, and that's what the intent was for. It grows naturally because it was intended for us. We have the cannabinoid receptors for a reason. They weren't just in our body for no reason. I think that if you connect the dots, you know, there has to be a connection to all of that. Personally, with my experience, I'll share. I had a really bad car accident. I actually ended up fracturing my neck and my back in 2011. And I ended up in a wheelchair, process, right? Thank God I'm walking again. But it was a process. And the first time they took me off painkillers was in 2014, which was my first back surgery. So from 2011 to 2014, guys, I was only going up on the Percocets they were giving me, the muscle relaxers they were giving me, the inflammatory medication they were giving me. I was on so many meds, it was crazy, right? For all of these things. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Spiritual use. That's what they're saying. Cannabis is also used for spiritual use as well. Absolutely. I think it, speaking of being, like, they use the word higher, but it kind of brings you to your higher self. You have different thoughts than you normally would. It intensifies your senses, basically. So I would definitely say it opens up your third eye.
Absolutely.
Just a
little bit. But what it did for me was I was able to stop using all of those medications by turning to edibles. Mm-hmm. Edibles, in turn, and the CBD oil was able to help me with my inflammation. It was able to help me with my pain. The doctor actually that prescribed it to me actually told me first to smoke a joint in the morning, right? So I can be relieved of the pain immediately, right? And then the edible would kick in about an hour, right? So I actually have a little machine that makes the butter, the tinctures, and the oils, right? And with that is where you're, yeah, and with that is where you're able to either make a dinner, make butter, or cook with the butter, or cook with the oils like that. So he literally told me, he's like, smoke a joint in the morning to help you relieve with the pain. And then, you know, get some of that butter and put it on a toast, and that will help you throughout the day. It was thanks to edibles and this factor and them teaching me this modality and this way of using it properly, right? That actually helped me get off of all of my medications. I had 2 more surgeries after that first surgery, you know, but the withdrawal symptoms I felt the first time I tried to get off that medication were horrific.
Right.
And I can understand why people get stuck on these medications for so many years, because you feel horrific. You feel, I can't even, the withdrawal symptoms are no joke, guys. You know, I never want to feel like that again. I never want anything to make my body feel so dependent on something that it causes me to be so desperate for it. Causes my body to fully fall into anxiety, and It was crazy. And I'm sure that a lot of people feel this desperation when it comes to this. We shouldn't feel like that about anything. We shouldn't be dependent on anything like that, you know, and that's the beauty of the natural side of it. I can totally make an omelet with that butter. You can make anything.
Absolutely.
I've made lobster bisque with that butter. And also, there's a lot, any food you can think of, I can cook it infused.
Yep.
It does help, guys.
Yeah, I've been infusing coconut oil for a long time for myself, you know, and making different things with it. You can literally make it anything, but baked goods are really good to put them into. You know, you just have to know the science just a little bit, so you don't burn the THC and everything, and you might have to decarboxylate, which means to you heat the THC basically to a certain point so it activates the THC so you can actually feel it. Because marijuana alone, without it being heated up, we're not going to feel it. We could eat a bud and it's not going to do anything to us, you know, unless it's heated. So, but you don't want to heat it too high, because then if you heat it too high, you turn your THC into CBN, and CBN is great, but it's a strong sedative. So you just become tired and you might not even feel your high. You might just want to go to sleep.
Niki?
Yes. So I work with something a little different than cannabis. I actually, with my end of life doula journey, came across clients who wanted to talk about the right to try, which I feel very strongly about. I feel very strongly about that for anybody, but especially at end of life. People, you know, with cancer, terminal diagnosis, or even in just an elderly who want to have that chance to try cannabis or try psilocybin, or in my case, what I've been working with is the MDMA, which is another name for that is called ecstasy. So MDMA is actually an empathogen, which means that it generates a state of empathy. And there's some other names for it on the street that, you know, like Molly and ecstasy, but a lot of those that you find on the street have other things added to them, additives that can be pretty horrible and make for very scary or horrible time. With where we resource our MDMA, it is MDMA. That is all it is. It is tested and made sure that it is exactly what they say it is. So some of the things that we can do, it's absolutely have been shown to do some amazing things with working with people who are at an end of life, who are scared, who are grieving, who are going through traumatic pain and issues. It really can be that heart opener is really one of the things that we call it, because it really generates that emotional vulnerability and really allows us to open up and have conversations that normally would be very hard for us. So MDMA really was kind of some of the background. It really started getting some big research in the 70s. But in 1985, it was kind of, it was put down and called a C1 substance, and that there was no acceptable medical use, that there was going to be abuse, and it wasn't safe. So really just in the last 10 years, there's a lot more, some breakthrough research that is showing. They started out with working with women who had domestic abuse situations, who had gone through rape, and it was showing some really amazing work for them. That did not get as much funding as they were needing, so they actually started focusing on veterans with PTSD, and that had a little more legway in getting funding from different groups. And so, and it was showing some really amazing work. So with that, it's called MAPS. They were really doing a lot of, giving the MDMA and just kind of allowing you to be with it. Could have a blindfold on, listen to music. Really with what we do is we have conversations. We really bring in, have an intention when we are going into a session. A session lasts about 3 to 5 hours. And it also, MDMA can really help with addiction as well. So it is, we go into a journey is about 3 to 5 hours, and we also we we set our intentions beforehand, and then we have those conversations. And sometimes the medicine takes us in a completely different route than we had intended, but it's working. It's showing us what we need and bringing up what our needs are. And it's really been shown to be an absolutely beautiful heart opener for couples, for people with trauma, for people with like I said, going through grieving, and actually I've seen more when working with clients, caregivers wanting to go through this journey as well, because they've had such a hard time with what the people that they're taking care of.
Wow.
Intense.
Just listening to you guys explaining these different forms, right? It really helped an individual to know that there are alternatives. There are alternatives that we can help ourselves. We have to be open, right? We have to be open, and we have to understand if you're going to change to go over to alternative medicine, you have to be very open, get the knowledge of what you're getting into, because that is super important. For the knowledge is super important for us to understand what we are getting ourselves involved with. And once we can do that and understand the process of helping ourselves, we can get help that we are looking for. And as we said before, that all of these things are ancient practices. It come from our ancestors, and it's just that certain stigma was being put on certain things, and because of that, a lot of people kind of like shy away from it and don't want to be open of
Right.
getting help that they really need. But as I said, we have to be open. We have to be open and don't have that hard line of not exploring other ways where we can help ourselves. It's all about helping yourself, because it's only you know the level of pain that you're going through. Only you know that level of pain. Only you know the way how you're feeling. It's only you can answer that question. And if there is another way that you can help yourself, you're free. It's your choice. Again, it's your choice.
Right.
It's your choice if you want to be open to explore another way that you can understand the alternatives, how you can help yourself. Right, Joan?
And
Of course, I'm just going to piggyback with, thank you for saying that, with Niki. When you talk about someone setting the intention before they going in and where it takes them, describe that, describe that scene of one experience that you have witnessed that you can attest to with setting an intention and things have shifted totally what one had expected, not expected.
so yeah, and I do want to say too, to piggyback on what Karen was saying, is that yes, these things can be used recreationally and going to a rave and whatever that is, but it can also be used medicinally, and bringing that inner spirit up as well. So setting some intentions. Actually, I worked with Soul, and we set some intentions on looking to your higher self, into and we have I have a very extensive intake to make sure that your body is able to take something like this. You cannot have high blood pressure. You cannot have heart condition, because it can raise your blood pressure slightly, and so you have to make sure that your body is able to take this, and then also spiritually. So we had an hour Zoom session where we talked about setting intention. We did multiple intake forms, talking about PTSD, talking about anxiety, depression, just to make sure that so that I knew what could possibly come up. So Sol, if you want to talk about what your intention was and then kind of more what we shifted to, I'm
Well, I would love to. It's one of the reasons I asked Niki to be here and I presented her to you because I had the personal experience. It's difficult for me to speak or promote something or talk about something when I personally haven't experienced it because I don't want to tell anybody this is great when I don't know, right? And not only that, definitely on my spiritual journey, there's so many paths. And as you begin to open your mind to it, you understand the oneness in the universe and the growth that is you're capable of. So honestly,
Yes.
guys, it's on a whole nother level. This is
Yeah.
really on a professional and medicinal level. This is not taken to play with. This is not for fun, even though it is fun. I'll say that and I'll throw it in there. But it's more so because it's how you take it. The intention was set initially for me to grow. I felt I had a block spiritually, right? And our goal as healers is to always make sure that we're open and we're ready to help serve others. And I just felt something was holding me back. We ended up going on a whole journey, and it was a 5 hour. Was it a 5 hour journey? It was a
Wow.
5 hour journey, and I sat with Niki, sat with me through the whole thing from the minute that the medicine went in my mouth to everything through the whole therapy session. It was an amazing experience, definitely something different and unique to what I've experienced before. But I must say that personally, with my experience, it was much more effective than any therapist I've personally gone to. Perhaps because of I also had that confidence with her. She made me feel secure. She made me feel safe, which is super important for us as a person in your own skin to feel safe. And then to be able to get vulnerable and share those types of things with people, you have to feel safe and you have to feel comfortable with the person you're speaking with. And Niki did just that. She was amazing in making you feel 100% comfortable with her and in being able to make you feel welcome to set your intentions and to go forward with what our goals are as we set them, right? And she was also helpful in being able to navigate me back to where our initial intention, right? When I decided to go and veer off. So it was definitely an incredible experience. It's something that I recommend. I am somebody that has dealt with a lot of trauma in my life, and my spiritual journey has definitely taken me on a big healing journey. And that's taken several steps because, guys, just like healing is necessary for the physical being, please remember our emotional and spiritual side is definitely necessary as well. That's why we say holistic, because you have to heal as a whole.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that we entrapped in our subconscious. So the beauty of these things that we're all talking about, and I haven't even got to the psychedelics yet, is that they do help you tap into that other side and your subconscious mind and make you more aware. Something that you said, Joanne, being aware is something that really helps you excel towards your future path. So it helps change the trajectory. But go ahead, Niki.
Yeah, I did also, I wanted to say, so I also work with people with psilocybin, and psilocybin, that's something that you would want to be with them as a sitter, as working with them. With MDMA, it's a little different. You don't have as many of the psychedelic really feelings, or you're not seeing anything. It's really just this heart opener. So you're still you're still it's not even like cannabis where you're feeling that high. It's you're still feeling you just feel that love really is what it brings. It's that love from the universe, that love from around you is what opens that heart. So that is something that is that we with MDMA I will do over Zoom. We make sure to have an emergency person just in case who is nearby, but that's not something that I've ever had an issue with. But yes, so just to make it a safe, and when you're in your own environment and having that heart opener, it's easy for you to feel that comfort and that safeness when you have your dog next to you that you can pet, or your cat, or if you need to go get a drink of water or use your restroom. It's just much more inviting and ready to really open up to what the medicine and your ancestors and your spirit guides really want to talk to you and to say to you. And as we talk, with the questions and some of the modalities that we do, it really brings up what's kind of just been sitting back here. Like Soul said, there was something blocking, and like trying to figure out what that is, and why that is, and how can we maybe turn it on its head, so that we're looking at it from a different direction and a different perspective.
Wow.
The question for Nicole.
So yes, psilocybin. If people want to work with psilocybin, I absolutely will work with them with that, and also the MDMA, or cannabis as well. And that's one of the things as a death doula I will see. Talking with Crystal, we have people who, when you go on hospice, you get this box, and it has the morphine, and it has the stuff for your anxiety and for sleep, and that's kind of what they give you. It's kind of this catch-all. And there's a lot of people who are wanting to step away from that. I had a client who tried the morphine one time and said, absolutely not, this is not for me. And so she started taking a cannabis tincture that worked so much better for her. It helped her sleep, it helped her with anxiety, and it helped her just to really be a part of the present, be present in what was going on, and with not having that fear and things like that. And so I also had a client, somebody who called me and said, they keep giving my grandma, we're here talking, we're having this wonderful conversation. They come in and give her the morphine, and then she's asleep, and then it's just, and she only has a couple weeks left. We want to keep having these conversations. And so I advocated. I said, well, who is her power of attorney? Who is making these medical decisions? And he said, well, my mom. And I said, well, what does your mom think? What does your grandma think? And he said that they don't want her to have the morphine. And I reminded him, well, then you're in charge. You get to decide. She gets to decide what she puts in her body and what she doesn't. And if she doesn't want that morphine, then that is absolutely okay. And so I suggested THC tincture. Being in Missouri, we're lucky to have that legal right now. And so I, suggested that. And he said, well, absolutely. She has been known to have THC in the past. I think that's something that she would enjoy much more. And so they were able to switch that, advocate for his grandmother, make sure she's getting what she wanted. She was able to have more conversations. They were able to connect and have that quality time within the last, couple of weeks, instead of just her laying there sleeping, being unable to really participate in life at end of life. And that's not for everybody, but it should be an option. And thank God it's becoming an option.
So,
wow.
I know. I have you guys. I'm surrounded by all these powerful women. Can you feel this? I mean, are you feeling this through this? I hope so. I hope you guys are getting something from this, because pretty cool. But I will jump into psychedelics, and specifically mushrooms, are magic mushrooms, right? AKA. And basically those, just to start with that, what is that, right? Well, they're basically wild and cultivated, right? They contain psilocybin, right? Which is basically what the psychoactive compound in it, right? And hallucinogenic compound is. But it helps us tap into levels of our mind that we wouldn't otherwise. Okay. So that's one way. At this point where we are now in the world, guys, we're run a lot by social media. And unfortunately, things are stigmatized. But I'm going to tell you a little bit of research that started this psychedelic, bringing it to what we see now, where we're fighting for its legality here in the United States. Researchers started from Johns Hopkins University, right? They were recommending the reclassification of psilocybin due to the research that was done for medical use here in the United States. And they found that it is effective in treating depression, even nicotine and alcohol addictions, right? Those are the ones that were tested. They also have 5 studies at this time, right, that were helpful in in certain life-threatening cancer diagnosis, right? So there's still extensive research going on. There's still a lot of fighting going on for the legality of it, but let's get more into what it does. and basically how this helps. So basically, it's a fungi and it grows in the wild. But the beautiful thing about this medicine is that it helps you become one with the universe, per se. It opens your mind to a place where you feel an unconditional love, sink in. And I've seen this happen time and time again. And what's so crazy is I'll even say one of the stigmas that I grew up on, right? Because I had a huge stigma against it myself. I had a lot of people when I grew up who were using it, recreationally and had bad trips, if you guys have heard that. Right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with that term, but there were bad trips that were going on. And so I got scared and I fell for the whole stigma of it. And when I became a holistic healer and I moved more into this world, I started learning and researching more on it because I realized that in other parts of the world, this is actually being used as treatment for these things that I just mentioned, for depression, for PTSD. It has been researched and studied extensively on these things specifically due to how it affects the brain and how it opens us up. So what I've experienced myself is seeing people be able to explore themselves to another level and be able to tap into levels of their subconscious that they wouldn't otherwise be aware of, right? Or be able to see. On a conscious level. Sometimes we have a lot of blocks and things like that are our veil, right? Kind of like that veil thing. And taking this kind of pulls the veil off to actually see what's in front of you. Following that, there's also what we call microdosing. It doesn't always have to be a macro dose, which is specifically what I was just discussing. I'll even get more into that. Some of the microdosing starts at 0.2 to 0.8 grams. And that is not for you to go into a full trip, a psychedelic or hallucinogenic, experience. But what it will do is these microdoses taken, depending on what you're prescribed or what you're, advised, they will help you with dealing with daily stress, anxiety, and things as such. They help calm the body. They help you think more clearly. They help you move forward without that stress and depression on you, per se. So I've seen a lot of people be successful using the microdosing, and usually we'll advise like 3 months of microdosing until you're ready for that macrodose experience, right? And that macrodose is what does take you to that next level, where you do have a spiritual connection with the world. It's definitely an experience to, if you've never tried it, I would definitely advise it. If you want to feel the love of the world and unconditional love, this is definitely one way to experience it. And then also, if you're dealing with certain subconscious blockages and things like that, this is definitely a way to explore it. In our retreats, we have one person that is with you on that level and one person that is completely sober, just to be able to have both sides and be able to be therapeutic in that aspect. And know how to act in case of anything. But thus far, we've had some amazing experiences and the outcome of it has been tremendous. So honestly, I can do nothing but highly recommend it if used properly. Everything in portion is good until it's abused. So if you have any questions, please, by all means.
I know you mentioned retreat.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk about that and talk about, how does one get into that? Talk about it.
Well, if you guys actually come to check us out on Linktree/Natural Health Hub, on our link, you will find a tab that says wellness retreats on it. If you guys are interested in these modalities, please leave your name and your information there. And on the bottom line, let us know if you would like to join one of our wellness retreats. We do have some coming up. And then let us know what modality you're interested in. If you're actually interested in all of these modalities and want some more information on that, because we do different retreats based on what they're interested in. So please check us out there, leave us what you're interested in, and we'll definitely call you back with more details on that specific topic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, but ask Niki. Niki was able to join us at one of our retreats. That's actually how we ended up, connecting. And she's been amazing. We've been connected since. Amazing person. And ask her. I would love for her to give you feedback.
Yeah. Yes, Niki.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. It was something that I will say I set intention going in. We talked, we had conversation, and I went in a completely different way. Yeah, but it was okay. It was what you needed. The medicine brings you what you need, and it really it was a beautiful to. The scenery was beautiful. The food was amazing. Oh my gosh, I learned so many things on how to eat, and I brought that into my own life with my own family.
Wow.
So they are really, enjoyed that as well. So the supplements, Crystal really teaches you, what is important for your body,
Wow.
supplements to take, the food, how that it can really affect you and change your body. And then Soul does so much with it. The Healy was an amazing thing. We were able to connect in so many ways and have some conversations that I can't. I'm an introvert. I am a person who, if I connect with somebody, we connect, but I don't connect with a lot of people. And when I went in, you don't know who's going to be there, and the connections that I made were absolutely lifelong.
Wow.
I have no doubt about that. And with everybody, I literally am talking to everybody that was at that retreat still. So it was absolutely amazing, beautiful experience, safe, loving, trusting, open. Yes, I can't say enough. So I will say one of the things that I experienced, I'd never experienced before. We did a sound bath. Crystal and Soul put this together. We were laying on a pool, on an inner mattress in a pool, literally floating there underneath the starry sky.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, and Soul did a sound bath for us. And it was the most beautiful, journey that, like, it was just, I cannot tell you the peace, and where I went. I was present, and it was wonderful. It was something I never thought I would experience, and to be able to do that, and to do that with such amazing women like Soul and Crystal. I mean, it was a really cool experience.
That fills my heart.
I know. Like, well, everybody I need it again. I need to record it.
It really was. And we did yoga. We did lifted yoga, which I will say I never really have been a big yoga person, because I am more of a meditation person. I can't really meditate while I'm doing yoga. But when I was doing the lifted yoga on cannabis, I was able to feel my body. I was able to really listen in and tune in more than I'd ever been able to before. So that was a new and wonderful experience for me as well. We did grounding meditations. We did the psilocybin. It was all of it was just a beautiful, reviving weekend, which I needed. I needed that reviving. I needed that grounding, and I needed to get that kind of extra step to remember why I'm on my spiritual journey, and what needs to open up from that. So it was a wonderful experience on all aspects.
Aww. Made me cry. I would have to, I know we were the hosts and everything, but it really was an experience, I feel like, for us as well. We all of us women just connected, and the empowerment that holds there, and just sharing each other's, like, I don't know, we just shared so much, and it was really empowering. And I think it, like Niki said, like we now have like friendships that are going to last forever now, because of that retreat. So. Yeah.
And I don't think that was a one-time thing. I mean, it says a lot about Crystal and Soul and what they bring to the table, and how their set and setting is so important, and they really provide that.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
That's
Wow.
beautiful. That's really beautiful. So
That's truly amazing. Go ahead, Joan.
no, you go.
You know, the beautiful thing is when any like-minded energies come together,
Absolutely.
you know, a lot of things could be unfold. Because when you're in a space, there is so much things happen in spaces. And when you have a supporting system within a space that you can allow an individual to unpack what they're going through, you know, and then you realize, you know what, I have someone that I can lean on. I'm not in this alone. I have an individual, or I have this community that I can trust as I go through my journey. I can trust these people, and they can help me, as if they could set the foundation that I can stand on, and that I could start to walk as an individual. And it is really amazing how, when we be open, so many things can unfold in our lives. And understanding our spiritual path, it involves a lot of stuff. You know, many times people are looking for their purpose in life, and they become so frustrated because there, as Saul said, there is a veil. There is a veil that you can't see past that veil. There is a lot of blockages in our lives that we really can't get past those hurdles. But the beautiful thing is that there are things that are there that can help us as individual to move past these roadblocks, to move past the veil that is in front of us, and open us to a whole new world. And opening us as individual to a whole new world is to understand ourselves as individuals. Because many times we are just existing. We don't really understand who we are. And seeing that we could go into a space and we could go within ourselves and unfold and unwrap and unpack, you can clearly understand my purpose on earth here is to do this. And we as individuals, we just need to be open. I'm going to continue to be using this word open. We really need to be open to a lot of things that is there to help us. We are so closed off, we are so restricted because of what we came through, what we hear. We become so restricted. And because we are restricted, we are punishing ourselves. We are not able to see things through a new lens. And we need to give ourselves the chance to really explore life, and exploring life in a very good way, understanding who we are, understanding our spiritual path, because we all are on a spiritual path. And a lot of us is in the maze, and we're just going through. We don't know which direction to go. We're kind of lost. But here is something whereby we can use to really give us clarity about ourselves as human beings. Because many times myself and Jomi would talk to people, and they keep saying, I don't know why I'm here. Um, I don't really understand myself. I don't know my purpose, you know. But listening to Saul, Crystal, and Niki, you really could understand that, you know what? You can understand yourself, but you just have to go through the right channel. Once you can go through the right channel, you can understand yourself, you can understand your purpose, you can understand why you're here, and not giving up on life. Because when you don't understand, you will give up. But then when you become aware of certain things, then you start to enjoy life. Then you start to enjoy the beauty of life. And then you start to enjoy your purpose here. Right, Joan?
Well said. Leaning in to our inner being
And away from our fears.
and away from our first. Thank you. Thank you. And harnessing and going within and self-awareness and trying to find who we are. Because I think at the end of the day, as you rightly said, Karen and Nikki and Saul and Crystal, we all want to be our best. We all want to live our best and reach the highest self. As Oprah would say, your grandest self. And all we want is to thrive and reach for that. But getting to that space and reaching to that space take a lot of work. You got to be willing to do the work to reach to your
Yeah.
higher self. Because your lower self would always keep you there. You get complacent and you feel comfortable there. But when you can tap in and know that there's more in you, there is where the beauty is. Because if you're willing to tap in, you're willing to lean in, release the fear, and come to a place that I want more. I'm deserving of more. This is not my life. I can reach higher. And to reach higher, that's where Nikki Crystal Saul has really explained so beautifully tonight what we can attain and open up those spaces and reach to that level of beauty that we never thought we had. Setting those intentions and allowing the universe, spirit, whatever your belief might be, to drive that force so that you can attain what is it you desire and why you're here. And as Les Brown would say, live empty, live full, die empty, because you got to draw it out. Draw it out. And not let limiting belief keep us in a space that we're stuck. We want to be happy. We want to walk in our excellence. But to walk in all those spaces and be all of that takes a lot of work. And we have to have the level of
Yeah.
mindset, because a fixed mindset would not allow you to move. But when you have a growth mindset, because there is growth and expansion, you are allowing new things to come in where you can have new discovery, new beginnings. You can explore and know what else is out there that you can find within that can help you to be and live your best. So,
Oh, you know I'm ready. I love you, ladies. I do.
we love you too.
uh, Focus goes where energy goes where focus. I'm still saying it wrong. Energy flows where focus
Focus
goes. I'm
goals.
sorry. There we go.
Mhm.
So the reason I'm saying that is because it goes right back with what Joanne and Karen are saying. And guys, it's really time to focus on ourselves. It's time to stop focusing on everything going on around the world, because the reality is that the inner turmoil is what's going to stop our own growth and our success, our being able to get better, our mental wellness, our physical wellness, our spiritual health, right? To make sure we're able to grow that. And in being able to feed ourselves and learn our inner self, right? We'll be able to change the world together. If everybody can focus on themselves and become better as people, this world can change.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm
Mhm.
convinced.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I was afraid that when hearing people say that, oh my gosh, is that me being narcissistic? Is that me, like being selfish?
Right.
But what I found when I finally started focusing on myself and what I needed, I was able to do so much more for
Right.
others. I became more selfless. I became, since I have started, I had 2 nonprofits, and doing this death doula work and this MDMA work. I mean, it's just opened me up when I finally looked inside and said, what do I need?
Right.
That's when I was really able to finally outwardly start helping people and others.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And just bringing awareness to yourself, being
Yeah.
aware of the things you do, the things you are allowing in your life, being present is so important.
Oh,
We
that's a
can't,
big one.
yeah, we need to be present. A lot of us worry, we have this fear. And, honestly, the thing that stops us the most is ourselves.
Yeah.
We're the only ones in our own way. No one else is in our way. We have to take responsibility. And we have to do it with discipline and consistency. And we have to go all in and just do it scared. It's okay if you're scared. We're all scared. We all don't know what the hell we're doing. So just get in there and do it and find out, because once you do it, it's not scary anymore. Just like a baby, we have to crawl before we walk, and then we have to practice that and we get really good at it. And then it becomes like nothing. We don't even think about it anymore, So, yeah, just do it scared.
Wow. This was such a beautiful discussion. And I think we need to have this again. We got to do a round 2 on this,
Yeah, we will.
because it's bringing awareness and it's helping individuals to know that we have the ability to make choices. We have the ability to go within ourselves to make the changes that we want to see in our lives, and not allowing self-limiting beliefs, as Joan said, to hold us back from moving forward. You know, every day there is evolution. Every day there is growth. And many times we are stifling that growth. The growth want to happen, but we are stifling that growth. And we are here to tell you this evening that if you are that individual that is really looking to break free from self-limiting beliefs and hold yourself accountable to moving forward with your life, you can do it. You can do it. As I said before, you're the only one that's feeling the pain. You're the only one that goes into depression. You're the only one that is sitting in that chair or lying in that bed every night and you're just drilling yourself. you know the why can be answered now, because many times we ask the question, why is this happening? But when you move into a different space, you'll understand that why. You'll understand that there is a place that you can go and you can move forward with your life, so you can live a holistic lifestyle, because you don't want to live part of you want to live all of you. And in order to do that, you got to shift your mindset. That's the only way it's going to happen. You got to shift your mindset so you can live a life holistically. You can live all of you. You can fill yourself up to that capacity that you can able to share yourself with the world and be of service with the world. It's about time. It's just about time. And every day we're just holding ourselves back from this. We need to get up and start moving. It doesn't matter what your friend may think about you. Look at your life. As I said before, you're the only one that's feeling what you're feeling. And sometimes you listen to people and they're holding you back. You got to stand on your own 2 feet and tell yourself, this is my journey, and I am going to take my journey into my hands and start to walk. Surround yourself with the right kind of people, because that is the number one priority you should have in your life. Surrounding yourself with a supporting group that can help you to move forward with your life. Not gossiping and pulling you down back into a rut that where you don't need to be. Because many times that is what is holding us back. And we just keep going around as a revolving door. You got to step out, as Niki and Saul and Crystal said. We've got to push past the fear, because fear is holding us back from moving forward. We got to push past the fear. And once you can push past that fear, you can see the on the other side. It's a beautiful, life is beautiful. Life is amazing. But it all depends on where you're looking. It all depends, as Saul said, where your focus is going. Because wherever you take your focus, there is where you're going to be. So this evening,
Exactly.
out of this beautiful discussion, one takeaway should be for you is to get up and start walking. Reach out to Niki, to Saul, and to Crystal. Have a discovery call with them and start your journey to a new life. It's about time. Stop going around like a revolving door. Step out and experience the bliss that life have to offer. Joan?
There's a beautiful side waiting for you.
Absolutely.
And show yourself some grace. Show yourself some grace. And take chance on you. Bet on you. So you can live your best. You can be your all. And you can move in the space of a level of alignment where you can function on all levels: mind, body, spirit, soul, everything. Because when we, as we live life, and to focus and to be and to show up, we want to come being magnificent. You want to come amazing when we show up in a conversation or in a room or whatever is it that we're doing and we having that level of exchange. We want to come with our all. Takes a lot of work, but you can do it. You can do it. Focus on your inner being, your inner self. Go within and nourish and nurture yourself, because you know what? You got it in you. And take that chance today on yourself and live your best. We're in the month of July already. Moving forward. You want to finish 2024 strong and beyond. Take that next step. Take a second look where you are in this moment. Are you getting what you want? Is life serving you well in this moment? Take a second look. And then make that decision to serve yourself well. Because only you can do it. Connect with Saul. Connect with Niki. Connect with Crystal. These are amazing women who are game changers. Game changers, and are making a difference for the world, creating impact. Connect with them today.
Yeah, and Crystal, Niki, and Saul,
Thank you guys so much.
you you guys are taking individuals to the inner core. It's bringing them to that inner core, to that inner self. And when we can really go to that inner self, you'll never be the same again. That's all I can
No.
say. You will never ever be the
There
same.
is the bliss. There is the beauty.
Never be that same.
Yep. And
It's
this is
magical.
When
don't forget, guys, this is coming from me personally, just my personal experience. I was suicidal. That's how bad it was. Depression gets that bad. And I understand life gets tough, but it's all perception. And just because you're going through a hard time right now does not mean there's not an answer. So these are alternative methods that we're giving you to break through that. But guys, there's so much help out here. Don't sit in that, because those cycling thoughts will only make it worse. You, just like she said, it's July. You have the opportunity to change those thoughts. You have the opportunity to change those attitudes, those behaviors, the actions that you're taking, and the things that will actually push you to accelerate you to where you want to be and where you need to be. This is temporary. What you feel is temporary. You can change it. It is a chemical. You know, they say that's a whole nother conversation. Sorry, I was about to nope, we're not even going to do that. That's a whole nother conversation. But you have the power to do it yourself by doing the inner work. So take the time, care about you enough, say, I'm worth it. Give yourself those affirmations and believe in yourself. Because here I am today. Thank God I'm still alive, and I'm here helping everybody that I possibly can. And I'm not done.
True. So let's get started, girl.
Let's get started.
And you know, another point I just want to stick in here. You know, many times we look at the money. You know, many times we look at the money instead of looking at the change. You know, we gotta start not looking at money to be the game changer. We gotta start looking at ourselves to be the change that we're looking for. And look to invest in yourself. Anything you do for yourself, you're only investing in yourself. You're only investing in yourself to see the change you want to see, to see the change that you want to see in yourself. So invest in yourself. It's worth it. Yeah. Invest in yourself.
Indeed, because it's going to help you to make a better tomorrow. So invest today.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Invest in yourself today.
I just had to jump
reach out to Saul. It's okay. Reach out to Niki, reach out to Crystal, and to the viewers, the audience. We just want to say thank you today for joining us and with your beautiful comments, because we clearly see that many comments could tell that a lot of people believe in what we are saying. And it only shows that we are on a spiritual path, and we just have to be open and to be receptive of things and changes in our lives. And this is nothing new. This is nothing that is new. All of this is ever since before we were born. It's there. The only thing is that science may up the game now. You know, they may up the game in a bit of bringing it in gummies and these kind of stuff. But it was always there. It was always there. But again, as Crystal and Niki and Saul said, if you're going to alternative medicine, you have to consult the right type of people.
Correct.
To change over into alternative medicine. Don't try to do it on your own and say, I'm going to do this on my own, because you don't know the scientific explanation behind it. So that is why you got to reach out to the right kind of people, Saul, Crystal, and Niki, and they will be able to explain to you if you want to go to that road. They are there to guide you on that journey. So just reach out to them, have a discovery call with them, and they will be able to hold your hand and create a safe space for you, so you could be in that space and be comfortable and not worry about anything.
Safe.
Thank you guys so much for coming into this space and enriching this space this evening with your wisdom and knowledge, and helping the audience and individuals who's going to watch the replay to help them to understand and bring clarity to the stigma, right? And the alternative world. Thank you guys so much for doing that. And I think we got to do a part 2 on this, because this is a very, very, very nice subject.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Nice.
Thank you. Very enlightening.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
And Tommy, thank you so much for being behind the scenes.
Yeah, thank you, Tommy.
Thank you, Tommy.
Don't forget to subscribe to Soul Light and Body. You guys have a wonderful evening or a wonderful day wherever you are in a part of the world. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.